Alright, so this is the side of the island, and I just went ahead and put up a 1/4 of an inch sheetrock, and now I'm going to mud and tape the seams and get rid of all the screws, and then I'm going to prime and paint this. I'm going to do that to both sides of the island to close up the look, and then as well as I have an idea of putting some cabinet doors. It's going to be 3 going across here, and so I have to prime and paint those as well. So hopefully this look turns out how I have it in my head. So I'm going to get started. Alright, so I finished up all of the mud and tape, and so now I just need to go back and I'm gonna do a little bit of sanding because I want that to be really, really smooth. So I'm gonna let that dry. Both sides are done. All three of the little columns are done. And then as well as any little areas where you can see the screw. So I'm gonna let that dry and then I will prime and paint that. Alright, so I'm going to show you what we did to the side of the island. We found these cabinet doors at our Habitat store. They were doing 50% off of 50%. So I think I paid like 25 cents a piece per door. So I'm going to show you what we did there, and then Jamal's putting the handles on go ahead and putting on all the cabinet doors and drawers and everything. So let me show you that. Alright. So I've already painted them. You saw some of that. And we just used some picture hangers and some double-sided Gorilla Tape to hold them on and make sure they didn't swing. And then currently he's putting the handles on.
Alright, so one of the things that we want to do when we're putting these in, I've already put some in, but I'm just going to kind of show what I was doing, is you want to measure so that you know that when you look down the row, all of your handles are all the same height, the same distance from the edge of the door. These I basically went with 1.5 inches. These are the more prominent cabinets, so we decided I measured on these. So this gap is about 3 inches from the little design trim to the edge. So I went 1.5. That way it'll give a nice look. They're not too close together where you can grab one without hitting your knuckle on the one next to it. So I'm going to go ahead and stay with the same measurements on these ones here, even though this trim here is a little bit thinner on the side ones. But I went ahead and did a 1.5 inch by 3 inches down from the top. That way all the cabinets, line up the same. The next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that when we line up, is that we line up with the center of these openings here. Not just to make sure that the hole is covered by these, but you want it to line up because this is a hex nut on the inside of these. It's kind of like welded in place or whatnot. So when you screw, you want your screw to line up with right in the middle, because if it's off, then you're having to try to bend and get things to work, and then it may not screw in all the way. So you want to make sure that hole lines up so that those screws fit right in there on both sides. You don't want one too high, the other, because then it doesn't line up. So that's what we're doing the measurements for. And as you see, I'll measure my top point, and then I'll come down here and make sure that this mark lines up exactly with that hole, and then do the same thing when I'm about to drill. So let's get this last one done.